Welcome back to Book for Therapy. You're listening to music by Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky, Symphony No. 6. I'm Yana Hunt, and now I'll be your host. Just a reminder that these chapters provide standalone information like in the book under discussion, so you can go ahead and skip the next minute if you've watched the previous chapters, as it's reintroducing the book. The first book I'm going to be looking at is Dr. Julie Smith's Why Has Nobody Told Me This Before? Why Choose It as a Resource? Dr. Julie Smith is a clinical psychologist and mental health educator. She's known for creating short-form mental health content. The purpose of the book is to provide basic insight into the functioning of our mind and body, along with practical tools for daily mental health well-being. The content focus is a clear and detailed look at how these ideas would be discussed in a therapy session, together with simple step-by-step guidance anyone can follow. The key approach is practical, skills-based methods, where we get to pick the right tool for the challenge, give it time to work, and practice, especially when not needed. Its distinctive element is that it is a toolbox filled to the brim with different tools for different jobs, and it's not a key to a problem-free life, but with some guidance and self-awareness, struggle can build strength. One particular important awareness day this month is International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia and Transphobia, observed on the 17th of May. It's been partnered with Chapter 4 of the book, How to Turn Bad Days into Better Days. The painting is by Salvador Dali, Galatea of the Spheres, accompanied by a Tchaikovsky symphony. Today, the 17th of May, we observed International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia and Transphobia. Since 2005, the 17th of May has been dedicated to the International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia and Transphobia, marking the day in 1990 when the World Health Organization removed homosexuality from its list of mental disorders. In a fair, just and compassionate world, no one is left behind because everyone has the right to a life of dignity. Hate speech and hate crime, physical and psychological violence, discrimination and bullying have never contributed to the evolution of human societies and civilization. Discrimination against a vulnerable minority doesn't make us as individuals strong, but potentially shows our own masked fears of the other. We can disapprove of someone's life, but we don't have to hate them. In essence, we can agree to disagree and still live in harmony. Many LGBTQ+ people still face experiences of discrimination and stigma in everyday life, which can lead to feelings of isolation, fear, and shame, and which often have negative short-term and long-term impacts on mental health. Chapter Summary. Try to make helpful choices rather than flawless, impeccable ones. Progress comes from action, not perfection. Striving for the ideal can prevent progress, while emotional well-being improves when you keep moving forward with good enough solutions. Focus on gradual, manageable steps that are easy to follow over time. Offer yourself the same understanding you would extend to a struggling friend. Being kind and compassionate to yourself supports mental resilience. Let your awareness of current challenges shape a clear direction for growth and keep your attention on that future. When it comes to tackling low mood, we have to focus on making good decisions, not perfect decisions. A good decision is one that moves you in the direction you want to go. It doesn't have to catapult you there. How to turn bad days into better days. When feeling low, even simple choices can feel overwhelming, leading to indecision. The belief that decisions must be perfect leads to decision paralysis, as every option carries uncertainty and some discomfort. Low mood often pushes us towards choices that reinforce being stuck, for example, avoidance, isolation, unhealthy comfort. Decisions made only based on current emotions, wanting immediate relief, can keep us stuck. So is doing nothing, which allows low mood to persist and even deepen. Low mood makes it easy to forget what matters most to us: health, relationships, growth. So the solution is to take small actions that are aligned with our values. This reinforces this positive feedback loop and helps improve our mood. Decision making in low mood. Cons. We say to ourselves, I should have done this already. Being stuck in low mood prolongs the negative feelings and hinders progress. Perfectionism paralysis prevents action due to fear of imperfect choices, and uncertainty avoidance keeps us away from necessary risks for potential growth. Pros. We say to ourselves, I can't deal with this right now. Comforting choices provide immediate relief but may delay long term improvement. Avoidance of overwhelm prevents feeling like it's too much because of complex decisions. And agony of choice keeps us stuck as there's a downside to any decision. Acceptance, though, facilitates decision making by tolerating uncertainty. A simpler way to look at this is feeling low, decision feels overwhelming, doesn't it? Notice perfectionism or emotional bias, refocus on values, health, and well being. Make a small values based action and break the negative cycle. You will feel slightly better and build momentum. How to approach low mood. Low mood wants you to do nothing. End quote. Good decisions move us forward to get out of being stuck, no matter how small, versus perfect decisions aim for immediate, large leaps but difficult to find, so we stay stuck. Actively choose. Make any small, positive decisions to come out of stuckness versus reactively feel. Base decisions on current emotions and what would like to feel instead now. Overcoming low mood. 1. Make small decisions. Start with small positive actions to break inertia. What do you deeply care about when it comes to your overall well being, both physically and mentally? 2. Focus on values. Align decisions with personal values for a sense of purpose. In what ways would your ideal daily routine reflect those priorities? 3. Prioritize health. Emphasize physical and mental well being in daily life. Does your current lifestyle align with what matters to you in this area? 4. Live aligned. Strive to live in accordance with your values and health goals. What is one practical step you could take today to move closer to caring for your well being? So keep it small, keep it consistent. Slow change is sustainable change. Consistency. Small goals are achievable daily tasks to build sustainable habits and pathways for a new habit. Daily practices that turn into second nature, as opposed to extreme goals that are drastic changes that might be unachievable. So, setting extreme goals leads to overwhelm and discouragement versus setting small goals, which promotes consistency and habit formation. To sum it up, choose small change, make a promise, stick to consistent action, integrate it into life, and you will see sustainable change. Talking to ourselves in the same way we would support and encourage somebody we love is a powerful component in managing mood. Bring to mind someone you love unconditionally. Now imagine they were speaking about themselves the way that you speak to yourself. How would you respond to them? What would you want them to have the courage to see in themselves? How would you want them to speak to themselves instead? Don't kick yourself while you're down. When low mood intensifies, it means low mood amplifies self critical thoughts. When self critical thoughts arise, it means negative thoughts emerge and persist. This leads to habitual behavior, which means self criticism becomes a habit not easily broken. And the problem is that ineffective solutions, which is simple advice from friends, fails to break the cycle. Managing self-criticism. First, we notice the thoughts, which means we identify critical thoughts as they arise. Second, we recognize biases, which means we understand the biases influencing thoughts. Third, we distance from thoughts, which means we create space between self and thoughts. Next, we recognize judgments. We acknowledge thoughts as judgments, not facts. And last, we respond effectively. We choose responses that reduce thought power. We do this through the voice of self compassion. Self compassion is not airy fairy or weakness. It's the opposite of self neglect, which is unkind self talk. The voice of self compassion is encouragement, what we most need to hear. It's kindness, it helps us dust ourselves off. It's support, the strength to pull ourselves back up. And it's honesty, it nurtures us to have another go. When we're trying to tackle low mood, the tendency is to focus on everything we don't want to think and feel. There is value in doing that. But if we want to move away from what we don't want, it helps to know where we do want to go instead. What do you want to feel instead? This is the toolkit presented in the book. When addressing feelings of low mood, we often concentrate on avoiding what we don't want. This has its place, but creating real change also involves identifying what we do want in order to move forward. So we look at the link between thoughts, emotions, physical sensations, and behavior. After identifying the thoughts and behaviors that are feeding into the low mood, use this simple formula to set the tone for your brighter, more grounded, your better days. The toolkit continues, recognizing that how you feel is shaped by your body, where your mind goes, and what you do. Use these prompts to complete the rest of your formulation. In moments when you've experienced that emotion before, what usually captured your attention? What kind of inner dialogue would support feeling that way? Think back to times you have felt like this. What actions did you take more often, and what did you reduce or stop doing? To feel that way again, how much you care for and support your physical well being. When you're functioning at your best, how does your thinking tend to sound like? And last, where does your attention naturally go, and what tone does your inner voice take in those moments? Explore if it highlights anything that has previously been helpful to you or uncovers new awareness about aspects of your routine that might benefit from adjustments or greater awareness. Use it as an opportunity to reflect on what supports you effectively. The book offers one final tool in this chapter under the Try This section, which is a solution focused miracle question. Take a moment to imagine that when you finish listening, a miracle happens and the problems you've been struggling with all disappear. What would indicate that things have shifted for the better? How would you approach things in another way? What opportunities would you be open to embracing? What commitments or patterns would you feel ready to release? What would you focus your time, energy, and mind on? What habits or behaviors would you increase or reduce? How could you connect with others in another way? How could you organize your day in another way? How could you talk to yourself in another way? What burdens, roles, or expectations might you be able to distance yourself from? Reflecting on these questions helps us envision the life we want by identifying small, meaningful changes to our daily routine. Even while challenges remain, making intentional shifts can positively influence how we feel. This approach moves our attention from what's wrong to what matters. That's all from me for now. Thank you for listening. The music in the background is by Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky, a composer who most certainly belonged to the vulnerable, discriminated LGBTQ+ minority community in a country that would not allow him to feel safe enough to be himself. His music reflects his inner struggles. I hope this video has brought some clarity on the concepts presented to support our self-awareness practice. See you soon.